Welcome to The Explainer. So, what does it really mean to die a good death? Is it about being comfortable, or is there something much deeper going on? Today, we're diving into a spiritual perspective that might just challenge everything you think you know about our final moments. It's a huge question, one that kind of sits in the back of all of our minds, right? Philosophers have debated it for centuries. How do you die well? Most of us probably think of a good death in terms of comfort, having our finances all settled, being in little to no pain. But the viewpoint we're exploring today, it argues that we're missing the point completely. It suggests the true measure has nothing to do with our physical or material world at all.
Okay, so to really get this philosophy, we have to start with its most basic idea, and it's all about the fundamental difference between our physical selves and, well, our true essence. This philosophy draws a really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you've got the physical body. Think of it as a temporary vehicle, a tool we use for our experience here. And on the other side, the soul, an eternal energy that doesn't die or just disappear. It simply keeps on going.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Our bodies are temporary tools that go back to nature, but our true self, our consciousness, our soul, that's described as something else entirely. It's an indestructible energy that lasts forever.
And here is where this whole perspective makes its most radical claim. It's the idea that the spiritual laws that govern our existence have gone through a massive and very recent shift. So for thousands of years, the model was reincarnation, souls coming back over and over to learn and evolve. But according to this teaching, 2013 was a game changer. The whole cycle of reincarnation supposedly ended for a lot of us, kicking off what they call the era of the final life. So what's the point of this final life, you ask? Well, it's presented as a kind of mission, to use every single talent and skill you have for the good of all humanity. That, according to the material we're looking at, is the one and only way to resolve all your past karma. This brings up a really good question. If this life is the final test, how is it graded? This philosophy introduces a pretty fascinating way of measuring it, and it's all based on how widely you contribute to others. The core concept here is a soul's weight. Think of it like a spiritual anchor. All of our attachments to things, to our reputation, even if it's just to our immediate family, all that stuff makes the soul heavy, tying it down to the earthly realm. But selfless service, that makes the soul light and lets it ascend freely. And this idea lays out a really clear progression. If you only serve your immediate family, your spirit stays tied to them. Widen your circle to serve the community, and you become a local guardian. Serve your nation, and your role expands even more. But the ultimate goal, the path to that light soul, that's when you dedicate your life to serving all of humanity.
Now, this change in our purpose didn't just happen out of nowhere. This teaching says it's all part of a much bigger cosmic shift, a new spiritual law that governs the unseen world.
This big shift is described as a move from private gods to public gods. The idea is that before 2013, you could pray for personal gain, and spiritual forces might actually help you out. But in this new era, the focus has completely shifted to the collective good. These public gods only get involved with efforts that help humanity as a whole, and they just ignore purely selfish requests.
This quote puts it pretty bluntly, right? If you've ever felt like your prayers for personal stuff just go unanswered, well, this philosophy offers a clear, if maybe a little challenging, explanation. The whole spiritual system has been rewired to care about the group, not just the individual.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. Let's get back to our original question. How do you have a good death according to this whole framework? The path to a light soul, which leads to a good death, is a path of service. It's about flipping your focus from getting to giving. It means using your unique talents not just for yourself, but for the good of society, and letting go of all those heavy attachments that are just weighing you down. So in the end, this philosophy teaches that a good death isn't some event you plan for at the last minute. It's the natural, peaceful outcome of a life that was lived for others. The lighter your soul becomes through that service, the more meaningful your final transition is going to be.
And that brings us to the last really powerful question this philosophy leaves us with. So we'll leave you with this to think about. If you knew for a fact that this was your one final life, what would you do differently? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.